through the lot, now you know I'm coming through. When the growth look good on you, best believe they wanna screw now. I've been trying to climb, devil threw me in the dark. Baby, don't be insecure, you can still go make a mark like blow. Could never let them drain my soul now. Blow. Table turning like doorknobs, wow. Blow. I think I'm about to set sail. I'm a walking, living legend, walking with my chest out. Life keep dealing me cards, I keep feeling it.
Boom! We're back. We're back, people. We're back. We're back. We're back. Street, you already know what time it is. You know what it is. We're here for another match preview. This will be our last preview for the pre-season for Liverpool before they face Chelsea in their first Premier League game. Make sure you guys smash a like. Make sure you subscribe to the damn channel and make sure you share these videos out. And also, more importantly, drop your comments. Drop your comment. I love engaging with you guys, man. Like hearing your thoughts. Have I said something that you didn't agree with? Why didn't you agree? Let's have a conversation about it. You know, let's take a deep dive, people. Let's take that deep dive. But obviously, we're here, man. We're here. We're here. Liverpool. Where do I even begin with it? To be honest with you, you know, I don't want to make this too long. To be fair, and usually, you know, I always have like stats or like team predictions, and I always have something to put up. But this time, I'm just going to talk. I'm just going to talk to you about Liverpool. Obviously, we're facing. I assume they're a German team. Don't really know too much about them. I put them in the same bracket as I'll put like Firth, and the other team that we played in pre-season. So you know, is this more of a run out? It's been very interesting. One thing I've thought about is the way that we've kind of gone about our pre-season. Now, usually, like, you know, last season, we remember, you know, the games we had, that we had like that fixture, that we had a next day fixture, like, you know, the silliness, silly little things like that. Players getting injured. I remember Konate getting injured. I think it was against Strasbourg. You know, silliness. So am I happy with the amount of games? I am, to be fair. I don't feel like you need to play that much. The players haven't even had that big of a break, so to speak, in comparison, you know, to previous seasons and stuff like that. So not really, you know what, the schedule itself for preseason for me has been fine. I haven't got no issues with it. I ain't beefing about it. I don't know how you would have improved upon it. To be honest with you, you know, we've been in obviously Singapore and all of that kind of stuff. Fair enough. I know the lads had a day rest. I'm sure that's what Klopp said in the interview, after the post-match interview. That the players would have just 1 day rest. Of course, you know, they've been traveling overnight, all the, you know, different time zones and stuff like that. So totally makes sense. So I've got no real problem with the actual schedule. I think I've got more of an issue with the teams that you're actually playing, you know, so to speak. I feel like we've now played, we will have now played, coming into the game tomorrow, 3 teams who I'm just struggling to kind of understand what it is you're gaining from these kind of fixtures. 1, 2, I'll give you, but 3 of these kind of teams, I'm just like, does this get you ready? You know, for, I mean, unless there's another game, and you know, I have not checked. To my knowledge, this is our last preseason game. Unless there's another game, if so, my apologies. But I'm just struggling to really understand what we're gaining from playing these kind of teams. Didn't mind the Leicester one or Bayern Munich. Perfect. Played. Those are the type of teams that I feel in a preseason you should play. The first 2 teams that we played, I also feel that you should ease your way into preseason. Of course you should, you know, because you've just come back. Some teams already started before you and all that kind of stuff. So no problem. But now I'm just like, nah, I kind of feel you need to be playing someone else, you know, of a much stronger caliber to get you ready for the season ahead. You know, we're going into one of probably Jurgen Klopp's most important season, you know, for Liverpool when you think about it in retrospect, you know, because he's coming off of a very poor season, questions being asked about Klopp. Can he do it again? Can he rebuild, you know, this side and get them competing again? You know, people won't admit it, but he's under a little bit of pressure to perform this season. So, and everything starts here. You know what I mean? I know we keep saying it's only pre-season, but pre-season is probably one of, if not the most important time of a season, if I'm being totally honest with you, because how do you get your team ready? You know, ready to play a certain system. If a player or manager doesn't even get doesn't get a preseason at all, how do you then expect them to implement certain plans and things like that? You'd have to be a really good manager, like a De Zerbi, where your football's fluid enough that players can just kind of pick it up. But he kind of took on from Graham Potter, so maybe he changed bits about it, but it was in essence what Graham Potter was already doing. So the team didn't have to go through a massive rebuild and a massive change of philosophy and stuff like that. Whereas with Liverpool, I feel like we're supposedly trying to change the way that we play. I won't say the philosophy. I feel like philosophy still kind of stays the same, intensity and all of that kind of stuff. And yeah, I just look at it and I'm just, for me, that's the only thing. I don't mind the amount of fixtures, days between all of that stuff. Got no problem with it. It's just the personnel of the clubs that we're facing where I'm just a little bit like, yeah, you know what I mean? But, ultimately, if that then puts us in good stead for the start of the season, then cool. Do you know what I mean? Whatever works. And we're not going to know. So I don't want to dwell on that too much. We're not going to know until the season obviously begins. Hopefully we don't pick up any injuries, something that we obviously picked up quite a lot, at the beginning of the season, especially. I know McAllister went down. Again, at the time of this video, to my knowledge, McAllister should be fine. Szoboszlai obviously was injured prior to that, missed the game. So again, he's fine at the time of this video. So yeah, at the moment, it looks like everyone's kind of in good nick. Obviously, in terms of on the pitch. Obviously, off the pitch, that's a whole different conversation. In terms of signing players and stuff like that. Again, something we do definitely need to look at. Something that we definitely need to get sorted, because at the moment, this window is looking very crap, in my personal opinion, for Liverpool. Haven't really done anything. Haven't done enough. You know what? It's not even enough. For me, you just haven't done anything. Do you know what I mean? You've bought two decent players. That's probably the only definitive thing that I can say. You've bought two decent players, but outside of that, I'm just like, even with the signing of these two decent players, are they going to help the team to get to even just move up a level? I don't think so at all. But that's not their fault. They're good players. You just needed to sort out the rest of the team. Do you know what I mean? You've let go of quite a lot of players, which again, absolutely fine with. It's just the replacing of these said players that I think, we need to sort out, and we need to sort out, relatively quickly. But ultimately, we'll wait and see when it does come to that, in regards to Liverpool. It's going to be interesting. Another thing, trying to see the lineup that Jurgen Klopp obviously is going to play against Darmstadt. Does he stick with the same kind of? Obviously, I'm assuming he's going to change it up, so to speak. But again, with the Premier League starting so close after this fixture, do you change it around too much? Do you not just put out probably what you would want to see? Again, a bit like we did for the Bayern game, where you put out your strongest team for quite a bit of time, to see how they play, see how they gel, because they're going to need to before the first fixture. It'll be nice to see what that team looks like prior to the actual first fixture, barring any injuries. I feel like that's going to be needed. I don't think this is the time where you start playing the youngsters. So unfortunately, as good as I think that they have been, the Kwanzas, the Scanlons, Doak can stay, Bradley can stay, purely because they're going to be, I'm assuming, in and around the first team. But Scanlon and Kwanzaa, I don't even know. Maybe he might be a fifth choice if and when Nat Phillips leaves. But I'm just looking at players like the Scanlons, the McConnells, Clark. Yeah, I'm looking at them thinking, yeah, I don't really want to see you in this kind of game. If I'm being totally honest with you, it literally serves as zero benefit to the team, you being here. With no disrespect to them, they've done their part, throughout pre-season. But why would we need to see them one game before our first game of the season? What would be the point? Do you know what I mean? In this kind of game, this is a game where you're trying to get your players into some type of rhythm. Liverpool, as we already know, are a rhythm team, momentum team. Liverpool cannot do breaks. It's been proven literally throughout Jurgen Klopp's career. Every time you seem to come back from a break, not every time, more often than not, when we do come back from international breaks, it takes us a while to get into momentum. When we do kick into momentum, you've seen what we can do. But I just think now, especially where we're at as a team, I just think we just need to build up some level of momentum, whatever that is. Whether we go there, to Deepdale and smash them, whatever it is, we just need to have something to kind of go into that Chelsea game, because Chelsea are going to be completely different opposition, tougher opposition, better players than the Darmstadt players, kind of thing, obviously. So, I just think we just need to make sure that we're ready, in that kind of sense. Hence the reason why I'm a little bit don't really get this fixture, but, it is what it is. yeah, when we look at the last game, we played against Bayern, we already know the problems with Liverpool defensively in defensive transitions, always going to be an issue. The big, obviously, question is Curtis Jones going to play in the 6? Is Trent going to play in the 6? Trent going to do the inverted thing? What does Jurgen Klopp want to do moving forward? People in the comments, let me know. What does Jurgen Klopp do moving forward? How does this kind of pan out? Does it change if we buy potentially like a Lavia? Again, time of this video, I don't know if we sign him in the next couple of days. I know that Lavia is supposed to be in the Southampton squad for their first game of the season. So he'll be there regardless. I don't think we'll be able to sign him in that space of time. But, if he's in that squad already, what does it look like moving forward? Even if he was to come in, now, does he start? If not him, who else comes in? But cool, just forget about the player name just for a second. One of the main things that I keep talking about, and I'm going to do like a Liverpool prediction and, tactically and stuff like that, maybe with Jerry and the guys, a later date. So I don't want to jump into this too deeply for this preview. But one of the things that I'm thinking about is the roles of the players, in terms of what are the instructions that you guys are actually being told when, you're in these kind of positions, because it seems to me that some of the instructions that are given to some of these players is not really matching what's supposed to be happening, on the pitch. It matches in certain quarters, so the attack mainly to 90% of it, but the rest of the team, I don't really understand some of what really goes on, and then every time different personnel comes on, it looks so different. It's never really the same, and I don't really like that. I feel like everything's got to be the same. Whoever comes on the pitch, you've got to be doing the same things. Yeah, do you know what I mean? In essence, obviously, your own personal touch is going to be applied, so to speak, but everything should relatively be the same. And I just think at this current moment in time, that's why I'm just a little bit, bit miffed. Again, Szoboszlai, I like Szoboszlai a lot. Out of him and McAllister, he's the one I'm looking at, potentially. Are we using him correctly? Do we feel like we're using him correctly? We're doing the same thing, and I've seen it online, people talking about it. We're doing the same thing that we did with Thiago. You sign an orchestrator. So in Thiago, anyway, you sign an orchestrator, someone at the base of a midfield. Someone who excellent on the ball. Brilliant ball dribbling ability, ball control, retains possession, all of the good stuff, all the stuff that you expect from a Spanish player. With the Brazilian flair. But then the thing that people talk about the most is his ground jewels, his tackling. The fact that defensively he's this. Why is that being talked about more than what he's actually good at? I don't mind you talking about it. That's fine. Great numbers. I've got nothing even wrong with the numbers. But why is that being spoken about more than what we know him to actually be good at? And Szoboszlai is now turning into the same thing from this preseason. Now, how the season pans out, I have no idea. Of course, I want Szoboszlai to come in, hit 20 goals, 15 assists, something crazy. I want him to do that because I really think he's a really good player. And I think that he's a player that, if used correctly in the right system, in the system that he was used at in Leipzig, if you put him in a similar type of system around better players, you should be getting better results. That's what I believe anyway, moving forward. Of course, I understand you go to different teams, you're going to have to adjust and stuff like that. I totally get that. But the way that we're using Szoboszlai and the things that I'm then seeing and hearing people talk about, I'm just like, yeah, I don't care about Szoboszlai's ground jewels, and I don't care about his maybe I'm using the wrong word. It's not even that I don't care, but I promise you it's at the bottom of my thinking. Like, that's definitely not something I'm like, oh, bloody hell, I wonder what his interceptions are like. Yeah, I wonder what his clearances and his tracking back ability. I wonder what all that's like. I don't care. I'm trying to figure out, when can we get him into fantastic positions to get a shot off a goal? When can we get him into dangerous areas to, affect play? When can we get him going forward instead of backwards? Because he's doing all the grunt work. Yeah, that's fine. Guess what? Yet again, it's the same. They can do the job, so get him, do the job. It's legs, as everyone keeps telling me, blah, blah, blah. I don't care. Like, I just need people to understand, I don't care. I really do not care in the slightest. Because once you start doing silly things like this, you'll get the same thing as a Thiago. Regardless of anything, Thiago will never be a good enough player in terms of when you look at him in the realms of football, staying at Liverpool because of these kind of things. If he had moved to a better team in terms of better footballing team, i.e. a Manchester City, or gone back to Barcelona, we would be seeing a different Thiago, absolutely different quality Thiago. We'll be talking about his flipping running. We'll be talking about his tracking back, how he's the best best defender we have in midfield. Like, what? Like, I don't care about you being, what? Go and sign a midfielder to do that. Do you know what I mean? Go and sign that guy who can do that role. That's what frustrates me. Hence the reason why when people say negative and stuff like that, I like the players. I like Thiago. I like Szoboszlai. I like McAllister. I think they are good players, but you have to have a system that suits these players. And I've not seen it this preseason at all. McAllister, maybe more so, but the majority of the time, I'm not really seeing it. What I am seeing is you are literally the technical one in a midfield that's still trying to be the press, harass, and all that kind of crap. That's what I see. Trent, the same thing. Difference with Trent, he's got this excellent, godly level of passing ability that is his game. So because that's now his game, added with that, added with the fact that he obviously used to be a part, well, not used to, he's been a part of this whole intensity and blah, blah, blah. This is what we're seeing. We're not seeing anything different. I'm not seeing Liverpool playing this fantastic, intricate possession. I see it in parts, in every now and again, but that's every now and again, you know, when the ball gets to certain players, then this, no. I want to see that throughout the entire pitch. I want to see the players all look comfortable on the ball. I want to see my midfielders, when you've got someone like a McAllister, however you're going to use him, whether you use him further forward, drop deep, whatever, just use him correctly. And again, same goes for Szoboszlai. This isn't where I pictured Szoboszlai playing at this moment in time. Again, I don't know. I'm not psychic, so I haven't got a clue what's going to happen in the future. But so this could all work out potentially. At the moment, it's just from what I can see and just from judging Szoboszlai during his time at RB Leipzig, that's where I'm just like, yeah, this don't really look like it's going to be something, you know, necessarily that might actually work. But, you know, I guess we'll just have to wait and see, you know, in that kind of regards. But that's where my frustration lies with the team in a general sense. And that's why I'm so harsh on them, because you've got a manager who had a style of football that sucked the energy and life out of these players, but also sucked the energy out of the opposition. Fantastic when it worked. Unfortunately, that's a 2-year kind of project that you kind of need to always keep refreshing, because it's definitely not long lasting. No problem. If you can do it, no problem. You can't do it. Not at Liverpool anyway. So guess what? You're going to need to adapt the way that you play. And I just think this preseason, I personally just haven't seen anything of note where I can sit here and say, that looks different. Oh yeah, that looks like blah, blah. Seen the same things. The attack, just like it was before. We have Salah, Mane, Firmino. The attack looks good, as always. It just looks a tad bit different, so to speak, because of the personnel. But I always kind of knew link-up play, Gakpo dropping deep, doing the Firmino role. What do you expect? Jota has been doing the Firmino role, so understands it. He kind of does it, but just in the left half space. Salah being Salah. I'm not seeing anything different, but they're linking up really, really well, which is what I do like about the attack and why I say Liverpool will bag goals next season. But then throughout the rest of the team, this just ain't it. This just isn't it. Do you know what I mean? I just think we are misprofiling a lot of these players. Curtis Jones, McAllister, Szoboszlai. I think we are misprofiling a lot of these guys. I'm not saying that they can't do a job, but what do you want? Do you want a player who can just do a job, or do you want an actual specific? That is his role, not he can do a job. That's his role. Do a job is supposed to be injury. You know what? Can you slot in there? No problem. No problem. He can do the job. Yeah, no worries. He can. James Moore, he can play left back. Yeah, don't worry about it. Not a problem. Not. Yeah, that's it. That's where you're going to be playing. No. We need to quit that. But again, you know, it is what it is. And that's what I want to see in this fixture tomorrow is that, you know, or on Monday, sorry, that, you know, Liverpool, you know, are implementing something that just shows me and gives me a bit more of a hope at this current moment in time, because at the moment, there's nothing I'm genuinely seeing that's making me think Liverpool have a successful season. We might have a good cup run, maybe, but back to being, we are technically a cup team. But, are we going to be just going on these crazy runs in the cup and then having a poor season? Are we going back to that again? 2001, like, mid 2000 kind of era. Is that what we're doing now? And that's just what I'm seeing currently. People are going to say it's just pre-season. This is how it always starts. It's just pre-season. It's just the first 5 games. It's just the first 15 games. We're only at Christmas. It's only January. We might sign players. It's only February. Liverpool might go on a run. Liverpool finish outside the top 4 again. We've seen the script before. Or Liverpool finish 3rd. We've seen the script before. We've seen this script before in terms of when we were this poor, in terms of personnel, the team, everything surrounding it. Are we going to have, there's too many other teams out there where, again, like I said, I'll get into all of that later on in my Liverpool predictions and tactical analysis and all of that kind of stuff. But, we can't keep doing these kind of things. And that's why I'm looking at this fixture and why I'm not too happy with the team that we're playing. But guess what? No problem. We move. Let me see what you're trying to implement. Let me finally see it. If I can see it in this game, same thing I said in the Bayern game, if I can just see what Liverpool are trying to do, then I haven't got too much of an issue. But at the moment, I don't. I'm just seeing that you're misprofiling players, putting players into positions, and then you're going to be talking about Curtis Jones saying, yeah, but defensively, he's not really that great. So why the hell are you putting him in a position where defensively, he needs to be great? do you know what I mean? And then if you are going to do that, change the way that you set it up then, so that you don't leave him so exposed at times. In that right centre-back area, make sure we're not so exposed. It's just little things like this. People say I'm moaning, but you all know it too. You literally have all watched the games. You all know the problems. Do you know what I mean? We played against some duds in this preseason. I think Liverpool scored 15 goals in preseason thus far and conceded 10. That is so brazy to think, considering the only good team that we actually faced was flipping Bayern Munich. Do you know what I mean? The rest has been a championship team, formerly a Premier League team, and 2 or 3 teams that couldn't even tell you what they did last season. It's just these little things, moving forward. And that's why people are getting so frustrated this preseason in regards to Liverpool and in regards to, what they're seeing and how much work needs to actually really be done. And, certain players just not really being up to par. But look, I can go on and on and on. You guys already know I can talk for England, if I really, really needed to. But you get the gist. You get where I'm kind of coming from. Prediction for the game, I think we'll win 3-1. I think we'll win 3-1 in the game. We'll probably be talking about the attack again after the game, so it won't really surprise me. It's so difficult because I'm just you're almost in a lose-lose situation in this. Win, we should be winning. You know what I mean? Concede, people are going to get onto you anyway. So it's because of the team you're playing. Whereas when it was Bayern, you as much as the goals that we conceded were a little bit sloppy, you at least were it's Bayern Munich. They could do that even if you are playing well. Do you get what I mean? So you're not going to be so fussed kind of thing. They got brilliant players in their team. But when you play against these kind of teams, it's tricky. You're almost just looking for, the team to just blitz them 10-0 with no shots on target for that upper team just to keep people quiet. But it is what it is, man. It is what it is. Unfortunately, this is what happens when you support Liverpool Football Club. Let me know what you guys think. Predictions for the game. What do you guys want to see, man? Honestly, just let me know. What do you want to see? How do you see the game going? Do you want to see Trent back in the 6? Do you want to see Curtis Jones in the 6? Do you want to see McAllister in the 6? Heck, do you want to see Szoboszlai in the 6? Let me know what you guys obviously think, and we are out.